Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, depending on what time you're listening to this recording. My name is Joseph, and I'm a Microsoft MVP and MCT. I'm really very happy to comment on this playlist with you, and it's about conditional access policy. We'll be doing a lot regarding conditional access policy, and that's going to cover for approved location, block unapproved device type, disable persistent browser sessions, and several other things that we want to do with conditional access policy. So I just want you to stay tuned to this playlist, and you'll really learn a lot from it as usual, right? And then if you've not subscribed to this channel, I think it is time that you do that. And if you've not liked this video, please hit on the like button so that YouTube can recommend it to people to watch. So that said, we are going to commence right immediately by going into the platform that I want to use to carry out this demo, right? So first thing first is for you to sign into CMD. I mean, just type in cmd.ms on your browser, and then when that comes up, you will see the very first URL there is the Microsoft Entra, right? So click on Microsoft Entra, and then it will just ask you to authenticate into the platform, right? And that's also, I will just wait for this to do. So while in the Entra Admin Center, what do I want to do? I want to restrict access to my cloud resources to locations that are trusted. Let us say, for example, that I'm having users within two countries, and those countries are Nigeria and the UK. And I don't expect somebody to be signing in outside of this location, except on situations where that are like exceptional cases, right? Let's say, for instance, you do your business in Nigeria and the UK, and you don't have any user in any location signing in. So it would be a good idea to limit the places across the world that users can access your resources. So how do you configure that to make sure that people who travel out of these trusted locations are not able to sign into your cloud resources? So how you do that is for you to come to protection. So when you get to protection, you go to conditional access. So when you go to conditional access, if you want to set for location, so the first thing you do is to go to named locations. So if you go to named locations, then the country where you want people to be able to access your resources and then block access to others, you want to pick that. So you just want to call it maybe approved locations, right? So just hold on, let me just get that from here. I just want to bring this up and say, okay, approved locations. Okay, then I want to say, okay, so I want these users to be from these two countries only, right? I mean, to be able to sign into this application only from these two countries, and then let's say this country, just so you can select multiple countries, right? Let's say we pick this UK, and then we do this. So that means at this point we are creating a named location, and then usually you have to refresh, right? So when you refresh, you have it as approved locations, and that's beautiful. So the next thing you want to do is to come to policies. So when you get to policies, what you want to do really is you have option to create policy from templates, but this is not very flexible. You can also upload policy files, right? But what we want to do is the granular one, where we want to come to create new policy by clicking on plus. So when you click on this plus sign, really what it's going to do is for it to give you option to input the name of the policy. So we just want to also call it this same also. We just put like a preface to say CAP, which is just conditional access policy. And then we want to say we are targeting, we are saying approved locations. And then what you do after naming your policy usually is the assignment. So who do you want to assign the policy to? So I want to assign the policy to all users. So I will get a warning to say, do not lock yourself out. This policy will affect all of your users. So we recommend that you apply a policy to a small set of users first so that you can verify that it works as expected before you blow it out to other users. So, and again, another practice is that you should try to exclude the break glass account just in case things go bad. That user can still have access to, make changes, right? So we just want to pick up that user who's our break glass account user, right? And that account is going to be Joseph here. And that's this user account. I'm just going to select this and I click on select. So that said, now that means what am I saying? The name of my policy is this and it's going to be assigned to all users, but I'm excluding Joseph from that policy. Okay, now that's to say the next thing is, what resources do you want them to only be accessed from those locations that you've added to that? So you can click on this and say, okay, do you want it that it should include all apps? So if you say all resources, formerly known as all cloud apps, it will target all applications. So if you wanted it to target certain applications that you want to select from the list of applications, you click on selected app or select resource, and then you scroll down here to click on select, which is this none, right? And then you can really pick up the application that you want to block access, you want to restrict access to, let's say your Office 365. But this time we've said that all cloud apps, right? So we'll just click on this and then that will include all cloud apps. And then the next thing is that you have the conditions. So under conditions, you have user risk, you have sign-in risk, you have insider risk. But what concerns us really is location. So you want to say, okay, these locations, right? So what you now do is we kind of say, okay, that you want to turn this on and then you want to say any location, right? So what you're doing is any location, then you want to say exclude. So if you say exclude and then you are bringing up the trusted location that you just created called the approved location. So you pick the approved location. So what mathematics are we doing here? We want to say, okay, what we want to do, we want to block access to all locations, right? And then it's including all network or location, and then we are excluding the approved location from the action that we want to take. Now let us come down here. So the next thing we want to do is, having set all of this, we want to go to the access control. So the access control is that we want to block access. We just say block access and then we do select. So do you know what just happened here? We want to say, what we are saying in summary is that we are creating a conditional access policy, and then that policy is going to be applied to all users except Joseph, that was selected as an exclusion from that policy, right? And then the policy is targeting all cloud resources, right? And then when it comes to the condition, we are saying that we are picking all locations and network except, or to exclude, the trusted location and block access for those locations that are not within the approved locations, right? So now if you create the policy, you really have three options. You have the report only mode, you have the on, and then you have the off. So what's the difference between the report only, the on, and the off? So the report only would not do anything. It's just like a toothless bulldog, right? It's just going to take the audit of what is happening, how people are trying to attempt to sign in from different locations. That's all it's going to be doing, right? While on is kick this policy on, let it be effective on all users that are within the scope that it is covering. That is every user in the tenant except Joseph alone, right? While off state is, as the name implies, you want to turn the policy off. Let's say at any instance you see that you had an issue, you could go turn the policy off. So by user practice, you want to create this policy in report only mode and observe rather the user's behavior. And once you do that, right, you are not immediately going to find the policy here. So what you can do is for you to refresh. You can refresh here, right, the browser once, and then you'll be able to see your policy that you created. Now remember that it is in report only mode. That means that this is not going to be effective on the users yet. So Once it comes up now, so what I want to do is to open the policy, and then I would now turn the policy on. So it's saying that report only, right? And then when it was created, and then we can do this, right? We can even modify the policy. Let's say, for example, you want to add more location to that trusted location, you could do that, right? But now that everything is fine by me, if I want to include more conditions, I can also include more conditions. But once I'm good, I can just click on OK, which is on here, and then click on save, and that policy is going to be effective. So what this is going to do is that when people try signing in from any location outside of the UK, they will get a message that say your signing was successful, right? But you do not have access to this service. So that's what the error you're going to get. So this is how simple it is for you to restrict where users can sign into your application to specific countries where you expect your users to be at an instance in time. So I hope you find this useful, and if you've not subscribed to this channel, I think it is time for you to do that. So if you've not liked this video, please hit on the like button, and thank you very much for sticking through to this time, and I hope you're going to have a wonderful day. Peace.